Hi and welcome to this week's Photoshop manipulation video. I can never ever say that word, but welcome back once again, guys. This week we are going to be focusing on how I went about creating this particular image here. Now, I'm going to say that I'm very much a learning Photoshop artist, and even though I make these videos and stuff, I want to kind of like showcase how I go about creating images, how I progress it, and along the way I can hopefully try and teach some other bits to other people and help them along the way as well. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because a year ago I made this particular image right here. Now, this is on my Instagram. So basically with this one, I took this background right here. Basically it's just like a wallpaper that you can just download online, and then I went about creating the rest of it. Now, it's okay to a certain degree, but obviously it's not the best, as you can see. So along the way that I have decided, you know, I want to revisit this and make this a lot better. And as we can see here, it says 39 weeks ago I made this particular image. So it was time to actually go back and recreate this. I've learned a lot of stuff. I've been studying a lot of stuff. And with this, it took me a long time to build. Now, obviously, someone who's a lot more advanced with me would make it probably a lot faster. They'd probably use a lot less layers than what I did, because I had to keep revisiting stuff. Because I did try making a speed up video of this, and I was just chopping and changing everywhere, going back, changing things and stuff, and it would not have been a good video whatsoever. So we are going to try and run through these layers, and I do apologise if this goes on a little bit quicker, but I do want to go through exactly how about I created this to hopefully give some people some better ideas about how they can go about creating particular ideas for themselves. So first of all, as you can see, I'm kind of trying to turn these off. I kind of got them into folders and kind of got them the way that I wanted, sort of. But as you can see, I've got so many layers to go with so many layers. It is unreal. So I do apologise if it's taking me a little while to turn these off. I thought it was going to be a bit quicker, I'm going to be honest. We're going to go faster. Turn, go. Let me put that up there, and we're blank canvas. There we go. We're rocking and rolling. Right, okay, so first of all, let me just show you the base image of what we had to start with. So this is the base image. Now, I really like this image quite a lot, because with this image, obviously, this is obviously like, it looks like it's in a really built up urban area, looks city centre, and also with that as well, you know, we've got the roads and everything else. We've got plenty of area and space to play with. So I really like this picture. That's why I kind of like wanted to revisit it and make it a lot better than I did before. So, but first of all, the main thing was to actually get this up and running. So let me just get the platform on the go. Okay, so first of all, so I placed the platform here and I got it ready. And I'll tell you one thing I will actually do quickly, let me just show you. So I took all these, basically all these images which we got. Where are we? Yeah, these up. So I've got a whole list of these particular images here, as you can see, and the first thing I wanted to actually do this time, instead of just going about just trying to chuck things together, which I usually do, I thought I'd actually make a sketch. So this time I actually put a little sketch together. So I roughly cut everything out, and the idea first of all was to have roads going through here and stuff up to the city. Did not work at all, and it just didn't look right. So I just played around with some ideas, and obviously, as you can see of the way it looks, it kind of looks like this in the final image, obviously unedited, but I did make some changes along the way. So I kind of like put it, so now I had a rough sketch of what I wanted to do, and now I know I needed to cut everyone out. Now obviously with this, as you can tell, we have a lot of different layers. Now I've got different layers for a lot of different things. Now, so this is going to kind of like be your base area layer kind of thing here. Now, one thing you're going to notice on some of these as well, if I just scroll in, that these are painted. Now I've actually painted it on top of them with a chalk brush and stuff like that directly, so I can't get rid of them or anything else like that. So they will look a little bit different to the actual original images, so just mind that, and I'll explain that later on as we go. So obviously I've cut everything out. Now one of the big things obviously with this particular image here is we had all these people there. We had obviously the forklift truck, or the JCB, shall I say, at the bottom with the signposts. You know, we had different bits and pieces like the building and that lot, and we had to remove all of this. So I went in, cut everything out, along with the train and that lot, just so I had like a base way of setting things up. Okay, so that was absolutely perfect. So we got that one sorted, and then we went about mainly concentrating on trying to put obviously the city together. Now I don't want to try and turn every single layer off, otherwise we will be here for forever. But basically I'm going to try and run through it now, how I wanted to go about making it. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that first of all that the cities were going to look okay, so I messed around with them for a little bit. So we've got the back city obviously right at the back there. With this one, obviously because it's a little bit further back, I wanted to add a little bit more depth of field into the image and stuff. So I've got Gaussian blur on there, and I've got awesome oil paint, which I'm going to go over how I put this painted look together and how I created it in a bit. But obviously the hue and saturation, which I turned down the saturation on the image because it's a little bit further away, because we've got some fog and that lot. I wanted to dull down, because obviously whatever's further in the distance is going to have less contrast and less saturation and whatnot else. So I wanted to drop that down and try so we had that depth of field as well. Brightness as well, turn that down. And then obviously, as you can see here, we got some fog because it's a big city centre. We got loads of cars and stuff like that, because this is a futuristic city, as you see, with all these kind of futuristic buildings and city vibes that they got going on. We've got to have a little bit of fog, smog, whatever you want to call it. So then that one's already set up. So basically, I kind of like did the fog after I put the cities in, but like I say, we're going to do this just so that we can run through it a little bit quicker. So then we've obviously got this with the middle city here, which is this particular, let me get this out. So I took this particular image here, as you can see, just a city centre sitting up early on the water and one else, but because we only needed the top, perfect, but it had that beautiful pink, purple kind of vibe going to it, lots of saturation in that, and I thought that would absolutely work perfectly. So basically it's a case of just sticking in there to kind of like I was playing around with the two cities, just trying to find exactly how I wanted them to actually look. So we had the middle city here, and basically with this one, once again, I tried to put a little bit of a Gaussian blur on it. Decided that that wasn't going to be looking too good. Oil paint, once again, like I said, we'll go through that. And then we've got some vibrance as well, just to bring it up. So that was the middle city. So obviously, as you can see now, we've got this bit here all done. I've cloned all these people out, and we've got like the cities placed behind exactly how we're going to be wanting them to look. Now, next thing is I will skip up here to the left building. Now, this bit was a bit of a nightmare to actually find this particular image, because I was looking around online just trying to find something at the right perspective. And obviously, as you can notice, we got the building up here. But one thing you also notice is that we got street lights here, and we got some lampposts and stuff like that. So when you look at it in the final image, even when we've got this rose close up, it looks like it's perfect when it's sat behind the bike. And then we got this building here, which ties in with the rest of these other buildings. That one was a bit of a bugger to find, I'm going to be honest, just to try to find the right perspective of what I actually particularly wanted. But we've stuck that one together. So that was the left building. Exactly the same with these ones. So basically I was just using curves, as you can see, onto the left-hand side of the screen there, flicking it on, flicking it off. Got a bit of color balance as well, and just made some little changes. This is level 48. So basically I put color dodge on all the lights and that lot. So some of them will go dull, some will go, then they'll go brighter and stuff. So basically that was the left hand side. As you can see, it's just plonked into there, kind of, well, not plonked, but you know, I've adjusted the right size so that it can actually match. So now we've got these buildings here. So we've got like this vibe where we can go through here and then go out behind the buildings that are going to be under here, and they're going to go out into the city. And obviously, like now, this building here matches those particular buildings there. So this making sure that we got all the right perspective. Otherwise, it's going to obviously look very odd if we've got buildings tilting to the left and or things blocking our way off and that lot. So being very mindful of that one. So like I say, it took me a little while just to find that particular picture. We've got a fog here, as you can see, just going up in front of this city once again. Obviously, this is giving it some depth of field, and obviously we want some smog and that lot to give it some atmosphere and whatnot else. What else should we, let's jump on to, so we've got the color dodge once again. So obviously we're bringing up the lights because we want to make it bright. We want that cyberpunk kind of feel, all the bright lights kicking down onto the actual, from the actual city. Then I went about wanting to get some actual some like some billboards and, you know, all that kind of thing and that lot. So I went with the famous Coca-Cola sign. Now, one thing you're going to notice with it also is that it is not completely red. Like, I like the red, but I just felt like the red was really, really distracting, and it's taken it away from the woman that was in the image. So I had to change that later on. But so basic changes, using saturation and whatnot else, bit of exposure. And then with this one also, I put a little bit of Gaussian blur just so that it can actually match in, and that that one also has got some oil paint, so that actually matches into the background as well. So obviously you can see with the square side of that building, it sits on there quite nicely. Also got this police drone. Basically, this I just looked for online, and we come across him. Where is he? There he is. Just that police drone there, and blame. Bang, bang. Just put him in, cut him in, just to try and give it a little bit more of a futuristic kind of vibe. So obviously he's sweeping through the city centre at the moment looking for someone. We could even pretend that they're actually looking for the woman that we've actually put in there now. So we've got the left buildings once again. So if you look to the left-hand side of the screen, we've got the building. We're just putting a little bit more fog. Once again, looking for that atmospheric depth and whatnot else. And then now we need to start building up underneath. Now, like I said, I wanted roads to start off with. Wasn't going to look too good. So I was just thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to chuck some shops in there, see how it goes. So obviously, as you can see, we've got the windows under here and this sign. So in my mind sight is that this bridge is going across here. It's going right the way across, and then it's going to go straight the way up there. So you basically got like a gap underneath, and then there's a walkway over the top. That's in the visions of my mind. And do you know what, something? I realised that I've forgotten something, I think, out of this particular image, which now I'm going to have to fix. Right, okay, so we've got Cadillac shop, top and bottom. Right, okay, so basically what we've got. So now the exposure here is bringing up the light. Now, the reason that I've done 2 Cadillac shops is because I put oil paint onto the actual image itself. Now, let me just see if I can zoom in. I'm having really problems with Photoshop and zooming in at the moment, and I have zero idea why. So basically, like, I've oil painted it, like I say. So the reason I've got a shop copy is that what I've done is I've taken away, like, I've masked the top shop. I've masked it away and then undid the writing. Because what happened was when I put the oil paint in to make it look how I wanted it to look, the actual writing in that lot was really squiggly and whatnot else. And I wanted to bring that kind of context back again, make sure the details are right. So I made a Cadillac, so I made 2 different shops. So basically with this also is that we had to make sure that the shops fit under here quite well. And where's the corner shop? So we've got the corner shop as well. So with this, as you'll notice, this particular image right here, what am I doing? Have I got it up again? I think I got rid of it. As you can notice, that this slopes down quite a bit. So what I had to do was warp it so that it could actually go up as well. So that way we could actually fit the buildings underneath. So it's a little bit higher there, just so we could get these buildings underneath. So what I've done with this Cadillac shop, I've done exactly the same with that, right? So they're exactly the same the way that I've done it. And with these particular buildings, I put oil paint on, I've adjusted the levels and whatnot else, and just like made like the basic corrections just to make sure that it all suited together quite well. Okay. Another thing what I've done was, as you can see, we've got the path here. And I put the path here because one thing we had with this corner shop, if I can find him quickly, there we go. As you can see with the corner shop, we just got this like black path with this metal grate outside the shop. Doesn't look too good. Obviously, in regards, we want this to flow really well. So basically, I took the path from here, placed it over to here. I used the hue and the saturation level then because obviously we've got white lights. This side's got purple lights, and we just changed that up so that it all flows and it matched really, really well. So that was basically how we put that together. So basically now we've got these shops in, we've got them situated, we've got all that lot sorted. I'm not saying that I've done it 100% this way. I'm just trying to go through it so we're not here all day. So then we've got the color dodge on the lights. Corner shop, basically with this corner shop here also is when I flipped it around so there's different ways. The writing, so like the telephone symbols and stuff, were back to front. So basically what I've done is I've cut them out, flipped them around, and then painted the areas in again. Okay, let me see what else we got now. So we got that one, corner shop, right, and obviously got the dodge on once again. So next thing we got up here is the tarmac. Now let me just show you quickly where the tarmac come from, just so as you can see. So this goes obviously up. So once I placed it into the image, one thing I had to do then was Control T it, press Shift, and then squash it down to the right levels. Now one thing I did use whilst I was making this was I was using this as a reference. Okay, so as you can see where the floor flows out on that lot, I was using that kind of like as a guide. So I was putting that underneath, adjusting the opacity and that lot so that I could drop this down so it didn't look a little bit too odd, you know what I mean? So I just used it as a bit of a guide of where things went. Now once I had this floor in one thing, okay, and I was adjusting this, one thing that was all the way out, because this was obviously a wide angle shot, what happens then is it squashes the photo and it obviously warps it a little bit and puts things out of perspective. So obviously, as you're going to notice now, if you look at these posts here, this post goes out, say like to the right a little bit. These ones bend out to the left a little bit, obviously because like I say, it's squashed. So I made the corrections here. So basically I've rebuilt these. So I've basically just cut this out, twisted it up onto the top there. Exactly the same with this one here and this side here. Warped them a little bit and then cut them out and then placed, obviously copied and pasted, say like the top bit there, put them onto the bottom to make them longer so that they can sit onto the floor. It's pretty simple to do really, and that was that one done really. So Tarmac shadow as well. So then we basically just put all this together. So basically we had all that tarmac, and it's just basically just doing the color corrections and just the bog standard stuff to try and make it look like it just looks completely normal. Then we have the train as well up onto the top here. So this bottom train is so that you've got this area here where this post is, right inside this area here. That there is obviously so just so that you can see behind where that kind of place is there. Now there is where is the top train? Let me just find it quickly if I can find it. That is okay. So we've got the top train. So that one had to go behind because it had to go behind these posts, and then this one had to go on top. You see what I mean? So like that one there goes on top of it, slides in where that other train is, and then we've got to fill the gaps in between them. And then obviously with this one where we had the train. So I had the train like this. So obviously he's bent around there. So basically you're just changing perspective, then using a warp tool to try and bend this to actually sit in to get it right. It's a little bit fiddly, a bit of annoyance, some of it, but we got it in there and basically just done the first one there, Control J'd it, put it in there, and then warped it to the other way. And then obviously exactly the same with everything else. We're making our corrections, color balances, exposure and whatnot else, and then away we go. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. So billboard above the head, obviously we're not worried about the bottom bit because her body was there. So when I actually made that part of the image, she was already stood there, so I put it behind her just then. But obviously with this one as well, it was a different color. It was like red, I think. Was it red? Yeah, it was red. Didn't like the red, so I changed it to yellow. A hue and saturation, just changed the exposure and whatnot else, and away we went. Okay, what else we got? Flying car. What was the flying car? Oh, that was a different design. That was an idea. I didn't realise I left that in there. Okay, so flying train. So basically with this one, right, I felt like I had too much negative space up into this particular area here. So what I did was I went and had a look at online and I found this on Wikipedia. So we've got this train floating around. Obviously one thing you're going to notice with this is really bright and whatnot else. So let me just show you exactly how I went about creating this particular bit. So obviously I've cut this out. Now we're not worried about the platform, how perfect it is here, because the lady's there and that's totally fine. In my mind, this particular structure or whatever you want to call it, stand, is going down and it's being supported on the edge of the other side of the train track so that this actually can be supported. Now, one thing we're going to notice with this flying train, let me just get through down to here. Okay, so let's take this lot off. So obviously, as you can see, let me just see if I can actually zoom in. I don't know what it is with Photoshop. Here we go. Okay, so this is what the train looks like once we've obviously dropped the brightness down. So let me just get rid of the brightness. Obviously, as you can see, this has obviously been oil painted as well. Just bear in mind that's why it looks a little bit different. So I needed to get rid of the brightness. Obviously, I put some curves, hue, saturation, and that lot. Well, I also did hue. What I did was completely change the color of it as well because I wanted it to match the background. So I put some hue and saturation, changed the sliders so that it had like a nice purple hue in that lot, so it actually matched the kind of vibe that we got. But obviously after I made the corrections in that, we had like obviously all these bright spots there. So what I did was actually paint the train, as you can see there. So I painted the whole train and that lot so that it's just blue and it kind of goes with the vibe that we're trying to get now. And then with just a little bit of hue and saturation just for a little bit purple on the edges. So pretty much straightforward in regards to that, but that's all been painted and it made it look absolutely brilliant. So that was actually sat there. And then a flying train copy as well. Once again, I have oil painted it. I was losing too many details in the actually above where the train was and that lot. It just looked really, really odd. So then I had to get rid of it. So I changed that one as well. Okay. So with this, to try and make it a little bit more interesting, once again, I put like a hologram onto the front of this. I tried loads of different things and this was the best thing that I could find and come up with. Maybe I could have done something a little bit better. It looks quite good. I'm not 100% certain on it, but it looks all right. Okay, so let's go down to the bits that we're missing. So we are missing the where's the bullet train gone? There it goes. It tells me I don't know where the bullets. Where's it gone? Am I losing it there? Top train. Oh, there we go. I'm losing it. Okay, so bullet train is basically this one here. So basically, we're going to take this train. So we've got this train here. Not very good quality. I'm going to be mindful. Like, this is an awful quality picture. It looks horrendous once I put it in there. But so I've taken this, and what I wanted to do is make it look better than the actual train that was already in it. So what I've done was I placed this in here, and obviously, like this is done at 300 DPI. So the train was going to look really pixelated and look terrible. So what I done was I actually just painted the train. So I put that on there, train, and then I just basically painted all the way over the top of it. If it shows, where's the top train? Oh, hang on a minute. No, I'm on the wrong one. Sorry, my bad. Okay, turn that one off. I think it is that one. Yeah, so basically we've got like different layers for different things. So let me just have a look. Hue, saturation. I didn't like the red once again, so I put the yellow. So I put the yellow on there. Obviously, as you can see, we've got all this pixelated where the yellow is. It looks dirty with the white and that lot. So I made all the changes and I painted it. So I painted it all together, and now it's at exactly the same sort of resolution as the rest of the picture, and it looked absolutely perfect. So I was really, really happy with that one. That one turned out just fine. So obviously, as you can see, we've got everything slowly coming together, and we've got this one. Well, we've got a billboard there. So I found another one, and I basically put that onto there. So I'm not going to bore you through where I got that one from. Then we've got the bike, which is there. Now, this is where I've just noticed I made a little bit of a mistake. Is that the bike should be, I thought the bike was actually covering that particular thing there with the stand. But as you can see, the stand is floating in midair. So that is a correction. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I noticed that. So I'm going to have to sort that out. Okay, so anyway, the bike I found, this was just a PNG that I found online, absolutely fantastic, high resolution. Oil paint once again, put some highlights and that lot on it, absolutely wicked. Then we got the billboard that I just taken from another street and that lot. Change the perspective and one else place that onto the thing in that lot. And as you can see now, we've got a nice thing coming together. And then we have, once again, the woman. Okay, so we've got the woman placed onto there with her. Well, actually, I'll go through that bit at the end. But basically, she's all done and sorted. Right. So let's just basically what we've got. So now we've got this platform together. Okay, I'm going to explain how I've done to the rest of the pictures. So we've got the levels here. Brightness. Obviously, we didn't want that. We got exposure as well, drop that down. So there's lots of different things, messing with the color balance as well. Now we've got it so that it's all tied together. Now this is what I've done with every single image that you see. Okay, so I've basically gone through and tried and made all the corrections to make sure that they're there, because obviously things are just taken in different situations and one else. Then we've got the exposure. Obviously, as you can see, we've got brighter areas, darker areas, and it just didn't look right. So I wanted to darken certain areas because we've got light coming in from above to the side, sort of thing like that. So I wanted to make all the changes. Obviously, this exposure here is just to try and bring up this particular side where this sign is and that lot, so it shines a little bit more onto the thing. Obviously, I don't want it crazily bright as we're going along because this is just made of concrete and it's not very reflective surface, so to speak. Then we've got this here, what we got here, sort of thing. So we've got some more shadows, and then we have this one here. So okay, so actually, tell a lie. I done. Right, so for this one here, so actually, ignore me. What have I done? It's one of them. Which one is it? It's this one here. Right, okay. As you can see for this one, right, so now clicking this one on and off. Obviously the lights are going off, as you can see with thing. What I've done is I've hand painted a lot of the image. Like I've said to you before, like the top of that there, I used a chalk brush and I've painted it all on. I like the painted look to my images, okay? So all these kind of smooth surfaces, they don't bring, there's no point doing the chalk brush and that, and they don't really suit too well. But what I like to do then is just manually paint everything out. So I paint everything, and it just gives it that beautiful ties it in smooth look. It's just the way that I personally like to do things and that lot. So I basically painted all these tiles, the stairs, I painted the posts, pretty much everything, including all through here as well and that lot. So it's got this sleek painted look all together. So I'm really happy with that one. So I put it all together, and then we have these ones here. This is basically all these lights are here for the the highlights and stuff like that. Now I haven't gone crazy. I know like people love their crazy rim lights. I'm not, like, I like rim lights to a certain degree, but I just don't like them taking over a picture. One thing I found obviously with this one here, if I click it on, it's very subtle indeed. As you can see, it's like a little purple hue coming off. Now the reason for this is like the concrete's really dull and that lot, and I know a lot of people just put rim lights and stuff like that on it, but it's not that kind of surface, and I feel that sometimes people go a bit too far with it, and I just don't like it for mine, so I just tend to leave it alone on a lot of things. So I put that. So basically we've got some rim lights, we've got some, obviously some purple, some hue where the lights are shining. This is the same obviously for the floors, for the bike, up here as well. Everything's just been tidied up just so we've got some hue and saturation. Just wherever the lights fall in, I can put some stuff even on, obviously on top of the train and whatnot else as well. Now with this girl, I was quite lucky, so we're going to quickly shoot through this because we've been doing it for 25 minutes. Okay, so we've got this lady here. Obviously, she looks fantastic the way she looks anyway. But one thing you're going to notice is she's CGI anyway. Obviously, she's not a real person. So one thing with all the painted looks that I like to do is once I place people like this into an image, even though it's real photos, because I paint over everything and whatnot else and stuff, like these people, and say I use 3D elements or like that bike and whatnot else, it all looks part of the same scene because everything's painted as well. So I just feel like it really ties an image, or for the kind of work that I like to do, it ties it all together. So basically, as you can see with this lady, actually quickly, did she come up here? There she is. Look, if you'll notice the detail on her body stuff, yeah? So you've got the white and whatnot else there. We've got all this, okay? So it's very detailed, okay, like that. Mine's not detailed. What I've done, once again, like I say, is I put a chalk brush. Oh my God. I don't know what it is with Photoshop and zooming in. I don't know what it is. I've deleted Photoshop, put it back on, and it just doesn't want to zoom in. I don't get it. But basically what I've done, there we go, is I've used a chalk brush and I've painted her to give her a nice painted look. So as you can see, so we've got the oil paint here, we've got this painted here, we've got some oil paint in there because I don't really want to paint all that. But I have painted all this as well, which is the same effect as the lady here. Now this is all been painted along with the train and stuff, and as you can see, well, especially for me, like we've got all this painted as well. It all kind of like ties everything together, so if you can see what I mean. So I painted it all together, and I think for me personally it makes it look fantastically good. Right, let me just double check that I've got everything turned on, because I am. So we've basically got some fog brushes, which we put onto down here as well. So that's done. Let me just turn that one back on as well. And then we go up here. Then I wanted to do one more fog brush because it looked a little bit plain. So I've used the fog brush, but also what I've done was I used Blend If just to balance it in to sit onto the bottom, just to give it a little bit more atmosphere, to kind of like match the background a lot more. Then I basically went through all the filters. Okay, so basically I went first of all with a nice purple, a magenta kind of style one. I turned it down though to about 18. I didn't like the density being too high, but it's just to give that a nice little magenta look to it. Then we went with this one. This is the, let me just have a look at a 3-strip dot look. This one here brightened everything, so it just brought everything up, which give everything a nice like shine and that lot to it, a glow if you will, and I thought that looked brilliant. But one thing I did want with this image when it came out finally is I wanted it to be like dark and gritty as well, you know. So we went with this particular one here. So we've got the color look up here. This one I could have played with it. I could have gone up with 100. As you can see, it gets slightly darker, a lot more contrasty, but I decided to go with just 80. So give me enough room to play around with stuff in camera raw. So once we put the camera raw on there, and that is what we got for the final image, and that is bugging me down there. I can't believe I forgot that. There you go. See, I need to sort that out now. Right. Okay, so basically we've got the temperatures here. So I made some basic changes, as you can see with these ones here, all the way down, just basic stuff. And the only other thing I changed was the color grading. Where my head is at the moment, basically it's just got a tiny bit of magenta in it. And then we've got some blues as well. And then boom. That was how it came up with the final image. Now, like I say, I'm pretty happy with the way that the final outcome, even though I did cock that little bit out there, which I have to sort out now. But apart from that, I'm really happy with it. It's been a good project. Like I say, I've come a long way in the last lot of weeks, in less than a year, from creating what we actually created before, which was, let me see, where is it again? Where are we again? Oh, it's disappeared. It doesn't really matter. There you go. Just ignore me. Anyway, but we've come a long way. I created it. Now, like I say, it took me a lot of hours, and I'm sure other people can create things in a lot faster time. But with progress, we are getting there. But I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I do apologise it's gone for 30 minutes. I could not explain it any faster, all the steps that I've gone to, in any other way than the way that I've done it. But anyway, much appreciated anyone who has stuck through all the way to the end. I much appreciate it. If you could drop a like, that'd be absolutely amazing. And also, if you could subscribe for some future content, that'd be absolutely brilliant too. But until next week,